Welcome back, 8th graders. It's Mr. Cavey, and today we want to get into the questions in 8.1 from MathLinks, Understanding Large and Small Percents. We're focused on this learning target: visualize, describe, and identify situations where percents are less than 1% or greater than 100%. We also want to talk about fractional portions of percent. So if you would like to see sort of how I work through some of the introductory sections, check my earlier videos. But today, in this video, I'm going to dig right into, jump, leap. I'm going to get into the questions down here on page 262. Just before we do that, let's quickly revisit these 100 grids because that's going to be important and helpful. Percents greater than 100% occur when the part is bigger than the whole that it is being compared with. So anytime you have a whole grid, 100 grid shaded in, that represents 100%. I'm talking about this here, this box. All of it is shaded in. And this one, we've only got 70 cells out of 100 shaded in. So the total is 170%. Percents less than 1%. Now this gets so tricky, and 8th graders typically get a little confused when we see less than 1%. In this case, 0.25%. When you see 0.25, you typically want to shade in 25 of these cells, right? So it feels like, oh, that should be easier. It should be 25%. But no, wait. But no, it's not 25%, it's 0.25%. So let's undo that, and instead we're going to zoom out of this tiny cell and just shade in this one corner. One cell out of the 4. Fractional percents. Now this is a fractional percent right here. More on fractional percents between 1 and, So fractional percents between 1 and 100 have a whole number part and a fractional or a decimal part. So in this case, this is a fraction only. Here we're talking about, it's got a whole and a fraction as a part of it. So we've got 25 and 4/10%. So in this case, we're going to shade in 25 wholes. They've done that here. And then for the zoom out, the 4/10 part, I want my smaller marker. For the 4/10 part, we need to do a little zoom out here to show just 4/10 of 1%. And that's what they've done here. All right, so this is not easy for me to do, but I'm going to take a stab at it. And let's see here. Represent each percent on a grid. So I may not do all of these questions, but let's try a couple of them. 125%. Let's, I'm in Google Jamboard, by the way, which you have access to. And I'll set up some grid paper. And I would love to be able to set up a 10 by 10 grid, but there's probably no way to do it. 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know what? Bear with me here. I'm going to keep the camera rolling just so you can see what I'm doing. Let's grid. And I basically, yes, okay, so what if we just copy this in? Would that work? Whoops, copy image. I just want you to see what I'm doing there so you kind of have your own shortcut in the future. Yes! I get happy about hacks. All right, so, and we're going to need one more. Boom. Will it paste again? Oh. Okay, so let's do that again. Copy and paste in. Why is it not doing it? Do I have to do that? Oh, okay. Can't be selecting the marker. Fine. Fine, Jamboard. All right. Okay. So how do we show 25% here? It's the best tool. I guess this is the best. Yeah, fine. Fine. So, that's horrible. What's a quick way? How can I adjust this? I don't know. Let's try this. Boom. And we will change the color. Okay. And we want 25%. So we'll shade in this. And we'll shade in this. Now, I wish it could all be one piece, but you see what I'm doing here. So this is equal to 125%, right? This is 1. 1 whole equals 100%, and this is 25 out of 100. 10.5%. Okay, so this time I just need one of these guys. And let's go here. Okay, that's getting a little smaller. Okay, so remember what we just talked about. That I'll take you back here for a moment. Remember this one? 25 and 4/10%. So we're going to have sometimes we have a whole number and a fractional percent. And a fractional. So that's what we have here. So let's focus on the whole number first. Where am I? Where I'm on this problem. 10.5%. So let's mark 10. Okay. Oops, I got a little big, didn't I? Nope. Stop it. Stop it. 10.5%. Why? Why do you do that to me? Oh, it doesn't want to get any smaller. That's annoying. I have to make this bigger. I'm not happy. Not happy about this. Yeah. Anyway, okay. And then the tricky part, 0.5%. So, you could draw. Let's see. We could shade in one, but that's not really good. Ignore my my brother here. What's the best way to draw? I know this is super slow in Jamboard, but just bear with me here. Is that the right color? Let's try that. So we can just do this and say that's half of 1%. Or to sort of keep with the program here, we can say we're going to zoom out. And this is our mini square here. No, actually, let's do this right. So I can make a mini square of 10, 3, 4, 5. This is basically what it should look like in your math notebook. And just shading in half. 5/10. Ugh. How did I get there? Okay. It's actually 1/2, not 5/10. I don't know how I got 5/10 in my head. So really what you can do is just do this. And I apologize, my coloring is not perfect, but no, that's awful. It's ugly. Apologies. Let's make it bigger. Okay. All right. So 10.5%. That was really painful. If you stuck with me, thank you. Thank you for hanging out. 10.5%. Okay. And one more. So this one is just a fractional percent. 0.4%. So one more time, let's grab one of these guys. And copy it in here. Gotta resize it just a little bit. And how are we going to do 0.4%? Well, we don't even have a single hole, so it's going to be less than 1%. And so I'm going to do something very similar to what I did here. Looks like I have the wrong color. So we're going to zoom out from 1. So just put a square around it. Zoom out from 1. And in this case, we do need, maybe that's how I got mixed up. We do need, like, 0.4% is the same as 0, well, it's the same as 0.4%. Literally the same thing. Right, so you're going to go back here, and this time we do need a square that is 10 cells. Okay, and then I'll use my coloring highlighter. And now I need to color in 4 of those 10 cells. Right? Okay. So now we have Control Z. Now we have 0.4%. Okay. Maybe I should, you know, while I'm thinking of it, I will just add this Jamboard to the assignment. Let's see if I can do that. Will it show up in my Google Drive? Yes. Boom. Okay. Now I could keep going. Oh, 262% would be interesting. Yeah. 262. So how do I add another page? Don't seem to have many options here. Oh, here. There we go. So how many, this is a great question that's going to come up later. How many grids do I need for 262%? I'm going to need 300 grids. And the reason being, even though it's 262, it's not 362, you're still going to need 3, because we're going to use a portion of that third grid. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. So how do we show 262? Well, 262 is going to be, and maybe I'll make an equivalent here first. Yeah. 262%. This is really helpful for me anyway. Equals the same as 2 wholes and 62 hundredths. Right? These two things are the same. So if you think about that, you've got 2 wholes right here. Oops. Sure. 2 wholes, and so that means we're going to cover 2 entire grids. So let's do that first. Yeah. This is my way of coloring really fast. Then we've got 62 hundredths, so we will color in 60 cells, and then 2 more. So I can make a little square, or I can use this fun highlighter. And I wanted to do some coloring, so let's do that. Okay, hope that makes sense. 2 and 62 hundredths. How many, that was number 1. This is so slow. Okay, how many 100 grids do you need to show each of the following percents? Yes, okay, so I knew that would come up. Think about what we just did. 262% requires 300 grids, right? So you will need, if there's any remainder over a hole, you will need that next grid. Probably didn't explain that very well, but let's go through these. So 300% even, all we need is 3 grids. Right, we're going to color them all in, done. This one, we've got 4 holes and 66 hundredths left over. So we're actually going to need 5 grids. This one, 1200%, we need 1200 grids. By the way, this is a similar idea. Don't want to take you too far astray, but when you talk about 1867, we say it's in the 19th century. And it's for the same reason. You've finished 18 centuries and then you're working on your 19th. Right? Or if you look at our current year, 2021 is in the I gotta make sure, careful about this, 21st century. Okay. Same idea. One full grid represents 100%. What percent does each diagram represent? So we've got a bunch of fractional percents coming up. That's going to get a little trickier. But for this one, no fractional percents. You've got a whole of 1, so 100%. And then you've got 12 boxes shaded in. So this is clearly, actually I'll use the letter, I already am. Excelente, 112%. This one, this grid, you've got less than 1. Now focus on that right away. You've got less than 1 because it's just a little box shaded in partly. All right, so we look a little closer. How many of the little boxes are shaded in? Comes out to 2 out of 10. So this is going to be 0.2%. And we will keep coming back to this idea that 0.2% is so different than 2%. So make sure you understand the difference. Yay, now we have a combination of whole numbers and fractional percents. Whole number percentages, there we go, and fractional percents. So first of all, how many big cells do we have, or regular size cells do we have shaded in? We have AD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and change. So we're going to write 0.85, and it's going to be a fractional remainder. So it's hard for me to show it here. You know what, I'm going to use my pen. So this fraction is 1/3, right? So basically what we have is 85. I'm not going to include a decimal here. 85 and 1/3%. Which is the same as 0.853 repeating. Right? This next one, again, just like B, D is going to be less than 1. Going to be less than 1. So we have 3 boxes shaded in out of 8. So simply write 3/8%. Here we have another whole. So this is 1, right? Or 100%. So we know we're going to be over 100%. And then we have 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shaded in. 125 and change. So the change is the balance of this fractional percent is going to be 1/2. So here's what this is going to look like. 125 and 1/2%. Okay, I think that's all I will do there. Number 4, 2 boxes of pasta are shown. 1 regular size, 1 family size. Based on the size of the boxes, what percent is the family size compared with the regular package? My alarm's going, which means I'm supposed to be doing something. So what percent is the family size package compared with the regular package? Well, they don't actually, refer to example 2 on 259. I don't know if they want us to estimate this or to make a calculation. I don't see any actual numbers here in terms of the size. So I'm just going to estimate this, and if it is the same package, I think I can remember. Oh, sorry, I'm not writing a percent there. 125%. Right? Because if this is 100, think of this as like a 100 grid, then we have to add this 25%. What did you assume when you determined your answer to part A? Well, I assumed I knew the percentage of the family size. Also assume that these two yellow bars are the same size. If you were the package designer, how could you use percent to indicate the size of the bonus on that box? Yeah, so just, what they're referring to is this problem here. 259. Yeah, same kind of idea. 25% extra. So we could do that here. Right, 25% extra. Ugh, writing is so... Oh, blah, blah, blah. 25% extra. Right. 25% extra. Okay. Move up, move up. There we go. The value per share of a certain stock was $60. 1 year later, the value is $85. Sounds like Bitcoin or Tesla. By what percent has the value increased over the past year? Now we have to read this really carefully. By what percent? Yes, these two questions can be confused so easily. This is saying what percent has the value increased. So if you look back to this package, we would say it's increased by 25%. But the percent of the original is 125. So you have to pay really close attention to the wording there. So let's do some math. And again, just estimating. We can say, let me be careful here. Well, the difference between these two, we know the $60 went up to 85. The difference between those two is 25. So I'm going to write 25 divided by 60. Oh, like that. Okay, let's go with that for now. What percent has the value increased? So I'm going to say 42%. And I'm getting that by basically rounding 41.6. Repeating percent up to 42%. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Because it's almost 50%. By what percent is this year's value compared with last year's value? So this is, what is the total? So we're going to say 85 divided by 60. I know it's so hard to remember which one comes first. And so, that was kind of a no-brainer. But you're basically saying 100% plus the difference, so 142%. A census of Canadian agriculture found that there were 229,373 farms in Canada. Of these, 14,651 were dairy farms, 735 were greenhouse vegetable farms. Fascinating stuff. Estimate if either or both of these represent less than 1% of all farms in Canada. Explain your thinking. No problemo. So, again, remember my decimal trick when it comes to finding 10% or 1%. So we've got this number here. 229,373. And if I want to find 10%, I would just multiply by a tenth. And basically all I'm doing is moving the decimal one spot to the left, right? I'm basically just saying invisible decimal goes from here to here. And that's how it becomes 22,937. Now, in this case, they're asking us about 1%. So how do we do that? We're going to multiply by 0.01. Maybe I'll include the commas. That might make it easier for you guys. 373 times 0.01. That is 1/100th, or 1%, equals, now we're moving the decimal 2 spots, right? So we're going to have 2,293.73. I hesitated because you could round to 2,294, but yeah. And here's my process again. I'm just moving this invisible decimal 2 spots to the left, right? Because now I end up with 2,293. So let's get back to the question. Estimate if either or both of these represent less than 1%. So I've decided that 1% of all farms is 2,293 farms. And yes, greenhouse vegetable is less than 1%. So vegetable farms are less than 1%. Now, all of that you could do in terms of mental math. You know, you could do this math down here and just move decimals over. You don't have to show that work, and just say, yep, 735 is less than 2,200. Determine the approximate. The other one, by the way, is not. Dairy farms, 14,000. That is more than 1%. 7 times more. Determine the approximate percent that each type of farm represents of all farms in Canada. Okay. So here's what I would do. Dairy is going to be, I'll show you all my work, 14,651 divided by 229,373 equals, oops, that's going to give us a decimal answer, and then that's going to give us a percentage. Okay, so let's do the math there. And by the way, let's do a little estimating. So I can estimate, remember that, that 10% of farms is 22,000. I'm working with 14,000. So I'm going to say that this number is going to be about 15%. Is that right? Yeah. Maybe a little lower. Yeah, let's say 13%. Okay. 14,651 divided by 229,373. What? What did I do wrong? Oh, that was silly. I was thinking of adding the 14 to the 22. That's, yeah. That makes perfect sense. So bad estimate, Mr. Cavey. Yes, that is. So if we look at these numbers, we've got 0.0638. So remember, these first 2 decimal places, very, very important. So I'll copy that answer. 0.06387. And it goes on. And that's going to equal 6 points. Let's just round to the 10th place, 4%. So that's for dairy. They represent 6.4%. How did I do that? I'm embarrassed. Because when I look at 14,000 out of 22,000, yes, what in the world am I thinking? Anyway, greenhouse vegetable farms. These are going to equal. No, tab doesn't work. That's unfortunate. Okay, so let me take another shot at the estimating. Greenhouse vegetable, 735. Ew. basically I'm going to say what percent or what fraction is 735 out of this, which is 1%. Look, it's less than a third. I think it's close to a third. So I'm going to say 0.003. 0.003. That's my estimate. Let's see if this one's a little better. So greenhouse, we've got 735 farms. See this number here. Divided by total number of farms, 229,373. Yes! Boom! Okay, 0.003. 0.003. And as a percent, I mean, we can round a little bit if we want to 3.2%. So I'll add 2 here. This is 3.2%. And I'll just move these over to show you this is part of this question here, okay? That is 31 minutes of walking through. I doubt anyone has watched this far. Let's maybe leave this here, and I can always add another part to this if this is actually helpful for anyone. But I'm going to close this video here. Thank you for watching, and best of luck as you continue working through this activity.